Quick reminder before we start this video, this is a really heavy spoiler video because I'm about to reveal the UA Traitor, it got revealed this chapter, and everything related to this chapter. So if you don't want to get ruined and you don't want to, get spoiled, click off right now. Hey everyone, it's the Manga Viewer, and today I'll be breaking down the full chapter of My Hero Academia, chapter 335. So without further ado, let's kick on. And if you enjoy my content, feel free to thumbs up this video or join the channel. Both is a great option. So the title of this chapter is Fertilized Egg, or in Japanese, Yuseiran. So I know this is a really weird title for this chapter, but hang on because Haruko-sensei is off again with his amazing Easter eggs, and it's actually an egg this time, not just a normal Easter egg. So the chapter actually opens up where it actually left off after Star Stripe actually got, killed and sacrificed herself in order for the society to be peaceful again. So it begins with All Might actually explaining the based analysis that were explained by the Jets, and they have discovered, and they're like, the quirk of Star New Order is like a poison to Shigaraki's body. It's kind of like poisoning him and weakening him, destroying all the quirk's factors, and actually waking him to the point where he actually can't get up and be on his 100%. This is actually a really nice plot armor because a lot of people have been wondering how the hell is Deku going to win against this monstrous devil where he have a million quirk, where Deku have only 6 quirks and they're not fully mastered, and he doesn't even have regeneration. So that's a really nice plot armor that Horikoshi fit in the story, and I really appreciate that. But I kind of wish if actually Deku and Shigaraki were to fight one-on-one with Shigaraki with all of his quirks and Deku with all of his 6 quirks and 100%. That'll be pretty interesting to see. So anyway, the students actually tell All Might hey, the civilians are fully evacuated. Let's just, go on and fight Shigaraki and All for One one-on-one. It's going to be much easier since the citizens are no more. But All Might is no, we don't know what All for One is actually predicting and what could actually happen, and we can't risk it because this could be a large-scale battle easily. We have seen Shigaraki fighting Star Stripe, and we see how much damage and catastrophe that made. Imagine if this was on a city or something. It will just get vaporized basically. All Might then starts counting the sides between the heroes and the villains. He goes on the villains have Dabi, Toga, the Liberation Army, or the remaining of the Liberation Army, since a lot of them got killed or destroyed or got in prison, and the Prison Breakers with All for One and Shigaraki, who doesn't actually need to be counted because they're on a whole league than the villains. And when he comes to the heroes, he's we lost half of our heroes. So, all the Class 1A have to train as hard as possible, as much as possible, in order to defeat Shigaraki and All for One. And then Bakugo obviously intervenes and be yo, we have been training since you left UA with Midoriya after the end of the war. We have been training with the Pussycats, similar to Season 3 in the camping arc where they trained and all of that, and they have become much more stronger. But All Might didn't see that, and we as well didn't see that because we were focused on All Might and Deku and how were they going and what was going on their side. Deku then asks Class 1A in general if they could help him to train his full potential, to unleash his full potential and his full power in order to defeat Shigaraki and All for One. And Bakugo obviously yells at him and he's yo, you're gonna be a cool warm-up before I fight Shigaraki and All for One. Obviously beginning kind of this stubborn character that he's always is, and he's I'm gonna show you my new move, and I'm going to test it on you. It's called Cluster, and he's going to see what Deku is going to do with it. I really like the the relationship is going with Deku and Bakugo, where Horikoshi is developing this sort of friendship between them and explaining more of Bakugo's character. I know in the beginning he made him to everyone to hate this character, but somehow everyone loves Bakugo, and he's becoming this a good person character, not just focusing on himself but also focusing on his teammates, and I really like this development. Class 1A then starts discussing their new moves and how they are going to win against the villains, where All Might actually flashbacks to his first training session in the UA when he was a student, and he's those students, or those fertilized eggs. This is where the title actually comes from. The fertilized eggs is referring to the students hatching from their, shattering from their limits and going beyond what they are capable of. even though they are students, and they are becoming like those professional, strong heroes that will lead the legacy of All Might in the future. That's exactly what the name of the chapter is referring to. And he basically All Might is talking to himself, and he's saying, Class 1A is strong, All for One. Like, don't underestimate my students. They're gonna beat your ass. That's basically what he's talking about, which is like really nice. So the chapter actually then shifts to the villains, where we actually were wondering like where they are, what's going on. And it turns out they're like in some sort of a cave that they are in. And I really like how Horikoshi displayed the image of those classes or like this sort of similarities between the All for One world and the One for All world, where like there's chairs and Dobby is sitting like on those chairs, and the League is sitting on those chairs, and All for One is sitting like in the middle. It's kind of like displaying those 6 quirks that Deku have to unlock, and now those villains are kind of like each of them resembling each quirk kind of like thing. It's kind of like the yin and yang. Again, I talked about this before, and I told you that Horikoshi loves to do this like a lot. And it turns out that I was actually true, and he actually likes to do that. So I thought it was like a really nice description of what actually like the image between the villains and the heroes are. So anyway, we see Shigaraki actually like roaring and screaming in pain because of all like the destruction that happened in his body, like with New Order and like the fight between him and Starstripe. And basically, All for One is telling him another me, kind of like referring to Shigaraki as another clone of himself, which is actually like, All for One is not hiding it anymore. He's not doing this for Shigaraki's sake, he's doing it for his sake. He's just planting the seeds and waiting for the tree to grow so he can take over Shigaraki's body, which is like really interesting. And basically, he starts telling to Tomura Shigaraki that, hey, come down, we need your body to stabilize, and Toga agrees with them. And we actually see Toga, like Toga is with the League. So it turned out that she's not in the UA. She is not, you know, trading the villains. At least that's what we know for now. Maybe she's hiding something that we still haven't got, because we haven't seen her for like a really, really long while. So anyway, he basically tells Tomura to come down. Nothing, you don't need to get angry. We'll just wait until we stabilize your body. And basically, Shigaraki's telling him like, I hate Starstripe, I hate everyone who remembers All Might, even like if there is one person, that person needs to get eliminated. And All for One basically laugh it off, and he agrees, and he's like, even though you didn't get New Order, which is like a really amazing quirk, I bet everyone wants to have it. You can imagine like all the cool things that you can do with it. But you actually like destroyed the biggest wall we have so far, which was Starstripe. Like, right now, I would imagine Starstripe is the strongest hero, until Deku actually, like, masters his quirks and all of that, and Class 1A becomes older. I think now, Starstripe was the, you know, the strongest hero now, and now that it got done, they actually got rid of the biggest wall. So it's kind of like a win-lose sort of situation. Dobby is then impatient, and he can't wait to kind of like attack the UA school, because All for One is like, yo, let's wait a little bit longer until like all the Shigaraki's body is prepared and we are like fully, you know, ready with Shigaraki. But Dobby is like, I don't want to do this, I want to go now, I can't wait to like kill Endeavor, because he's like alive, he's kicking, he's doing well in his hero job. So Dobby is like really impatient and really angry about that. And All for One tells Dobby that we have a lot of similarities between each other. Me, I took like multiple routes in order to achieve my goals, and you only focused on one goal, which is like surpassing your father and kind of like become or surpass All Might if you want to go to the past, and you kept like going in that direction. So they have like a lot of similarities. And All for One then smiles and says, even though Midoriya is returned to the UA, I have a lot of friends. And here is the big shock and like the whole, let's say the money shot of this chapter, if I should call it, or like the money page of this chapter. We basically get like a really zoom in from Shigaraki's eyes to the UA. And guess who we see? We see Hagakure. If you don't know who Hagakure is, she's the invisible girl who's basically like been all mysterious, and we don't know how she looks like and what exactly she's doing, and she turns out to be the UA Traitor. And that's basically what I've been talking about, what I have been predicting, not just me, but a lot of people. And it was just like a huge surprise for everyone that like, yo, Horikoshi is basically revealed the UA Traitor of this chapter, and like, we finally got that, which is basically like indicating that Horikoshi is trying to end this manga, kind of like he's trying to wrap it up and kind of like fill in all the plot holes that's going on in this chapter. I feel like Hisashi Midoriya will also get revealed soon, and all of those mysterious characters. But let me know what you guys thought. Like, did you thought that it will be Uraraka or, you know, Denki or something? Or did you think from the beginning that it was Hagakure? I feel like Hagakure was actually like the best option, or like the best theory that we had, because it's like the most mysterious character in the whole My Hero Academia. We don't know anything about her except that she's invisible and she kind of like shoots lasers and stuff, which was like really cool. So seeing her that she's actually the UA Traitor and confirming this theory leave me a lot like with just jaw-dropping moments. I kid you not, I spent like 15 minutes at the store staring at the last page and I'm like, yo, how are we going to top that? Well, what's going to happen next, you know? And just, you know, seeing, it's kind of like this image that Horikoshi is trying to show you, that seeing like your friend that you have been trusting for like, what, 6-7 seasons, or like 6 years, let's say, and kind of like him stabbing you in the back, it's actually like really interesting. I feel like we're gonna get the backstory of Hagakure and why did she become the traitor. Maybe she's actually like not an invisible girl, she's like have another completely different quirk, or like multiple quirks, but All For One granted her that invisible quirk to kind of like emphasize that she can actually go stealth and, you know, take all the information and kind of like disappear with it. Because there's like a lot of theories about that she's actually the traitor, even like before she got revealed. So seeing that, it was actually like really interesting. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen next. Do you think that Hagakure will actually get forgiven after she gets revealed that she's the UA traitor, or we're just gonna get her like as a villain and she's not going to get any redemption? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to thumbs up this video or share it around with your friends. That would be really great. And if you would like to see the leaks and the full summary of this chapter, I translate them on my Twitter, so feel free to check them out. I will link it in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have been the Manga Viewer, and I'll see you all next time.